Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive into the latest Web3 and crypto and tech news.
Always something new happening.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. Ethereum's price dipped down to $3,194 according to Web3 Wire.
Right.
Is this a sign that ETH is in trouble or just the usual crypto roller coaster?
I think it's important to remember that crypto markets are known for being volatile. They go up, they go down. It's part of the game. Ethereum is still a major player in the blockchain space.
So you're saying don't panic just yet.
Exactly. Long-term perspective is key in this market.
Okay, that's reassuring. Now let's talk about the Ethereum Foundation. There's been some controversy brewing over their recent sale of 100 ETH.
Right. CryptoSlate covered this.
Yeah, they did.
Right.
And apparently the community is not too happy about it. Vitalik Buterin even had to step in to defend the foundation's executive director, Aya Miyaguchi.
It's a fascinating situation because it highlights the challenges of decentralized governance. Everyone wants transparency and accountability, but reaching a consensus in a community as diverse as Ethereum's is never easy.
So it's like a test case for how decentralized organizations can handle these kinds of decisions.
Exactly, and it raises important questions about decision-making processes and power dynamics in these systems.
Okay, let's lighten the mood a bit with something a little more fun. Web3 O'Clock is reporting that the Trump MP coin has surged to a $10 billion valuation.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty wild, right? It seems like Trump's return to the presidency has reignited interest in this meme coin.
It's definitely an interesting case study in how politics and internet culture can collide in the world of crypto.
It also raises questions about the potential influence of these meme coins and the whole regulatory landscape surrounding them.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Now let's dive into some of the Web3 innovations that are making headlines. Web3 Wire has a couple of articles about altcoins shaking things up, and Toen aiming to become the Web3 version of WeChat Pay. What's the deal with these altcoins?
Well, some altcoins are really pushing the boundaries of blockchain tech. They're focused on things like improving interoperability, which basically means allowing different blockchains to connect and work together seamlessly.
So kind of breaking down the walls between different blockchain ecosystems.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the whole decentralized finance or DeFi space, where altcoins like Alab and Compound are creating new ways to lend, borrow, and trade crypto assets without relying on traditional financial institutions.
DeFi sounds so complex, though. Can you break it down for us regular folks? What's the potential impact there?
Think of it this way. DeFi aims to create a world where you don't need a bank account to access financial services. You can lend, borrow, and earn interest all through decentralized platforms. It's still early days, but the potential is huge, especially for people who don't have access to traditional banking.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. Now let's talk about TLN's ambitions to become the next WeChat Pay. That's a pretty bold goal considering how dominant WeChat Pay is, especially in China.
It is. TLN wants to use blockchain tech to create a more open, accessible, and secure global payment system.
But how can they compete with a giant like WeChat Pay?
It's definitely a challenge. They'll need to build a platform that's user-friendly and super secure, but the biggest hurdle might be navigating those complex crypto regulations, especially for international transactions.
So TON has its work cut out for them.
Yeah, but the potential rewards are massive. A truly decentralized global payment system could revolutionize finance as we know it.
We're also seeing some serious money flowing into AI and robotics. Web3 O'Clock reports that Sereact, an AI robotics company, just got a $25 million funding round, and Spain is launching a $150 million initiative to boost AI adoption in businesses. What's driving this investment surge?
AI and robotics are on the verge of transforming so many industries. We're talking self-driving cars, robots doing dangerous jobs in factories, AI assisting doctors with diagnoses. The possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
So this is about way more than just robots taking our jobs.
Right. While job displacement is a concern, AI and robotics can also create new opportunities. Think about AI-powered tools that can help humans do their jobs better, or even create entirely new types of jobs we haven't even thought of yet.
Before we move on to part 2, let's quickly touch on a couple of corporate developments reported by Web3 Wire. Zedge is restructuring its GuruShots platform, and Z-Test Electronics has initiated a strategic review. What's going on with Zedge?
Looks like they're trying to boost GuruShots' profitability and make sure it grows in the long run, probably streamlining operations, maybe even making some tough choices about what to focus on.
And Z-Test Electronics. What does a strategic review even entail?
It means they're taking a deep dive into their entire business to figure out their strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities. They might end up investing in new tech or exploring mergers or acquisitions. Who knows?
So it's all about adapting to a rapidly evolving market.
Absolutely. In the tech world, you snooze, you lose. Companies have to constantly innovate and evolve to survive.
We'll delve deeper into these stories and more in part 2. Stay with us.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's unpack these Web3 innovations a bit more.
You were talking about altcoins pushing the boundaries of blockchain tech.
Yeah.
Can you give us some specific examples? Like, what are they actually doing?
Well, one area that's really interesting is interoperability.
Okay.
There are projects like Cosmos and Polkadot. They're building these ecosystems where different blockchains can actually connect and share data with each other.
Oh, wow. So it's like a universal translator for blockchain.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. And this is a big deal because it could solve some of the scalability problems that have been holding back blockchain adoption.
So instead of all these blockchains being siloed off, they can start working together.
Exactly. It could lead to a much more interconnected and efficient blockchain landscape.
That makes sense. What else is going on?
Another exciting area is DeFi, decentralized finance.
Right.
Platforms like Aave and Compound are letting users lend, borrow, and trade crypto assets without needing those traditional middlemen like banks.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around DeFi. Can you give me a real-world example of how it could actually impact someone's life?
Okay, imagine you need a loan, but you don't have access to a traditional bank.
Okay.
With DeFi, you could potentially borrow crypto using your existing crypto holdings as collateral.
Interesting.
Or let's say you want to own interest on your savings. DeFi platforms offer all sorts of ways to do that, often with much higher interest rates than you'd get from a bank.
So it's about giving people more control over their money and opening up access to financial services that they might not have had before.
Precisely. It's a whole new way of thinking about finance, and it has the potential to really shake things up.
All right, let's move on to TON's goal of becoming the next WeChat Pay. How realistic is that?
It's a tough one for sure. WeChat Pay has a huge user base, and it's deeply integrated into the Chinese market.
Yeah.
For TON to really compete, they need to offer something truly compelling.
So what would that look like? Lower fees, faster transactions.
Those are definitely important factors, and security is crucial too. Users need to feel confident that their money is safe, but I think the biggest challenge for TON will be navigating the regulatory landscape.
Right.
Cryptocurrency regulations are all over the map, depending on the country, and dealing with that on a global scale is no easy feat.
Okay, now let's talk about those big investments we're seeing in AI and robotics. What are some of the specific applications that are driving this trend?
Well, one of the biggest is autonomous vehicles.
Self-driving cars.
Exactly. Companies are pouring billions into developing self-driving cars and trucks.
Yeah.
The potential to revolutionize transportation is massive. We're talking increased safety, efficiency, and accessibility.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to think about.
Another area that's attracting a lot of investment is industrial automation.
Okay.
Robots are being used to do jobs that are dangerous, repetitive, or just plain difficult for humans.
So it's not all about robots taking our jobs?
Not at all. AI and robotics can also create new opportunities. We're seeing investments in AI-powered tools that can help humans do their jobs better, like medical imaging software that assists doctors in making diagnoses.
That's fascinating. So it's about finding ways for humans and machines to work together.
Exactly. It's about augmenting human capabilities, not replacing them.
Now, with all these advancements happening so quickly, shouldn't we also be thinking about the potential downsides?
Absolutely. It's crucial to consider the ethical implications of these technologies.
Like what?
Well, as AI systems become more powerful, we need to make sure they're being developed and used in a way that's fair, unbiased, and transparent.
Right.
We don't want to create systems that perpetuate existing inequalities or lead to unintended consequences.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but how we choose to use it.
Exactly. Technology is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us to make sure we're using it responsibly.
Okay, let's bring it back to those corporate shakeups we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
We discussed Zedge restructuring its GuruShots platform. What are some of the pros and cons of that kind of move?
Well, restructuring can help a company become more efficient and ultimately more profitable, but it often involves some tough choices.
Like what?
Layoffs, sometimes selling off parts of the business. It's a delicate balance, and there are always risks involved.
What about Z-Test Electronics and their strategic review? What could be the outcome of that?
It's hard to say for sure. A strategic review could lead to all sorts of things. They might decide to invest heavily in their existing business or maybe expand into new markets.
Okay.
Or they could explore mergers or acquisitions, trying to find a partner that can give them a competitive edge.
It sounds like they're keeping their options open.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what direction they decide to take.
Well, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on both of these stories as they unfold. So we've talked about these big changes happening with Zedge and their Guru Shots platform.
Yeah.
What do you think is driving these decisions?
Well, in the tech world, things change so quickly, you got to stay on top of it.
Right.
It seems like Zedge is trying to adapt to the evolving market. Maybe they're looking for ways to make Guru Shots more profitable, or maybe they're trying to streamline their operations. Who knows?
It's kind of like survival of the fittest out there.
Exactly. You got to adapt or you'll get left behind.
And then there's Z-Test Electronics with their strategic review. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's a pretty big deal. It suggests they're seriously considering all their options.
Yeah.
They might decide to invest more in their current business, or maybe they'll look for ways to expand into new markets, or maybe even mergers or acquisitions. You never know.
So a lot of possibilities on the table.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do.
Well, we've covered a ton of ground today.
We have.
From Ethereum's price movements to the drama with the Ethereum Foundation to the rise of meme coins like Trump, and we've seen it all.
And don't forget those altcoins and DeFi and Ton trying to take on WeChat Pay.
Oh, yeah, and all those investments pouring into AI and robotics. It's clear that the tech world is constantly evolving.
No doubt about it.
But it's not just about the technology itself. It's about what we do with it and how it impacts our lives.
That's the big question, isn't it?
So as we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought. How do you see these developments shaping your own life, your work, your future? It's something worth pondering, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll catch you tomorrow for another deep dive into the latest Web3 and tech news.